Spirit guides, spirit guides, spirit guides. Pleiadian emissaries of light, Pleiadian emissaries of light, Pleiadian emissaries of light, Pleiadian ancestors. Lemurian ancestors, Lemurian ancestors, Lemurian ancestors. Arcturian ancestors, Arcturian ancestors, Arcturian ancestors. Thank you for joining me as I speak on this topic. And peace and love and welcome or welcome back to the palace. I'm actually very excited to be speaking on this subject today because it has been the basis for my entire journey thus far on this earth plane, as far as moving back into true calling, true self, true purpose, true life recognition, remembrance, reminders, activations. Everything that I have experienced in my awakened state has been thanks to my guides, whether galactic or through ancestral patterns, through ancestral realms that have already been lived here on this plane of existence that I am re-tapping back into. And yeah, I just kind of wanted to make a video about it too, especially as I'm moving further into my journey in speaking light language and sharing it more with those on the channel, with you on the channel, and in many larger ways that I feel called to share it. I felt also called to share my personal relationship with each of the star beings, or the beings in which I called to and channel for and through. And yeah, this is what we're talking about. So the first journey that I had was with the Pleiadians. Those were the first that's my first star family that I have connected to and spent the most time with, and that has guided me on most of my journey, that I've known for quite some time. And I want to say that I found, or they found me, or we came to know each other once more back in 2018. And I remember because it was winter. Yeah, it was winter of either winter 2017 or 2018. That time period is like, doesn't even feel like the same lifetime, so it's kind of weird to tap into that. But it was during the winter, and that's when you can see the Pleiadian star system in the skies during the winter months. October to like something. February, March maybe. And so I remember I would always be going outside with my friends, and we'd be smoking, and I would kind of stand there and stare up, and I always saw this little cluster of stars. I always just noticed this cluster of stars. And I would sometimes ask, my friends, like, do you guys see that little thing right there? They kind of look, oh yeah, I see it. But I always just felt like compelled, like, what is that? I remember feeling so strongly when I would look at the Pleiadian star system, what I need to know, like, what that is. And I've never wanted to truly know what a star was when I looked at it. And during the year, I also was called to do more star bathing, and I would go out and just lay in the grass and stare at the stars and follow stars moving. And I was getting really connected to the sky, and tapping into like a remembrance. It really felt like, wait a minute. And it was almost like when I was looking at the stars, then when I would be in my body, I'm like, wait a minute, am I from, like, I felt like I was from there and I was down here, and wait, how did I get here is how I felt. And then, although I don't watch her that much anymore, I watched a Stargirl the Practical Witch. She did a different pick a card reading for who are your like spiritual guides and ancestors. And in the card that the spread that I felt called to, she pulled for the Pleiadians. And she spoke on them, and then she showed a little image, which was the star system that I had been staring at. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's the star. Those are the stars that I look at. And so I Googled Pleiadian star system, and it was those stars, and then I saw them, and I was confirming, and I was just like in shock, but also like very excited. And I remember in the spread, she talked about how my star family were still very much active in my life, and were watching over me and guiding me, and really taking a strong interest in my path. And so I started reading a little bit more about the Pleiadians, and less so in the sense of like their long drawn out history, but more in like a connection to them personally and looking up at the stars every night, saying hi to them. And it wasn't until I moved to Colorado and I started working at the crystal shop that I learned way even more. And I even have a oracle deck that one of the women at the crystal shop found for me from the ladies of the Pleiades. She said she never found it anywhere else and she couldn't find it again after she bought it for me. And it felt all just like intricately weaving itself together. And you'll notice that with your own journey, with your own star families. Once you start to notice and get that connection, it'll just unlock itself exponentially, especially at the moment in which you're ready to receive it. And so I connected with the Pleiadian star system. I was really excited to grow in my connection to them in my own personal sense before learning more about them. But as I learn more about them, the more I'm like, oh my gosh, that totally makes sense. And learning about the connection to the throat chakra, about music, about dance, about their journey and path with us as a human form, and the whole story of how the Pleiadians were formed. I don't want this video to be too long because I also have to talk about the Lemurians and Arcturians, so I might make little separate ones for each. But this is kind of how I got to know each of them. And so how I got to know the Pleiadian star system was literally going out and looking at the sky and then seeing it in the tarot spread and then reading about them and then calling and speaking, and I would call to them. And I always call thrice, and I would call in my meditative sessions to them and speak with them and ask for advice. And they led me along my whole journey when I was living out of my car. I have a whole playlist on the channel if you want to see all the things I experienced while I was living out of my car, because all of that was solely led by my Pleiadian ancestors. Interestingly enough, this weaves perfectly into how I met my next family line. And when I was traveling and living on the road in my car, I got called to Mount Shasta. And I only got called to Mount Shasta because I found this book. I was just like in the middle of my car life journey and I didn't know where I was going to go. And I remember I was walking in Barnes & Noble and I asked Pleiadians, I was like, can you like lead me somewhere in here where there might be a book for me? Can I just let me know when I see it? I just would like to have something, an actual tool here in this physical realm for me to work with. And I saw this book. It was just, this little part, and I was like, huh. And then I pulled it out and then I looked at it and I read it, and like, I haven't finished reading the back because it's an actual type of like meditation to repattern your brain. But for the first, like, all that I could read up until, I read in like 1 or 2 days and was in shock. And then when I read the back of the book, the woman who wrote it is in Mount Shasta, California. I was currently in California, not too far, and I was like, I have to go. I have to go to Mount Shasta. I have to go to Mount Shasta. So I drove to Mount Shasta, which, as you may or may not know, and I'll tell you right now, is actually considered the root chakra of the actual physical earth. It's actually also the subterranean city of Telos, where it said that many Lemurians who lived on Lemuria before it broke off of California, some stayed on the island and drifted away, some went underneath the mountain of Mount Shasta and created the city of Telos, where they now reside. And I remember going to Mount Shasta, and I still remember it strongly within my physical body now, and being so a part of Gaia, a part of myself, a part of God, a part of everything. I was channeling, getting major downloads, major activations. Even though I was on the root chakra, I still felt like I was, maybe it's because I was in such a grounded space, I was able to go up really high. But I was like hearing other people speaking telepathically in the realms around me. And I remember when I went to Mount Shasta, that's when I started doing more research about Mount Shasta in general, and then about the Lemurians and Lemuria. And then I remember saying Lemuria and then Lemuria. I still haven't necessarily found my own way into how to pronounce it, but as I read about them and I learned more about them, I started calling to them and starting to speak with them in meditation. And as I continued to speak with them in meditation, they became a strong part of a lot of the other signs that I've been getting within my present life that I haven't shared yet, of where I'm getting called to and where to go to on the earth plane, and how all these things I have been called to completely align with a lot of the history of Lemuria as well, especially considering it as one of the first ancient cities which worked in high vibrational energy, which worked with crystals, which was on a higher level of vibration in a more awakened state, and was able to live and co-create in harmony with the earth and with self and with other and with God. And so that's how I kind of got to know the Lemurians, was by this book, which is from the Pleiadians, and it almost felt as though they kind of work together, and all my guides do come to me usually at one time together and let me know. And so the Arcturians were actually the last main family that I've been working with like intensely, where I go and kind of commune with them. I call to Archangel Michael and Archangel Metatron, but I don't speak with them like really ever or a lot. I pray to Archangel Michael every night, and I call to Archangel Metatron when I feel called to, and to Goddess Isis when I'm doing my spreads. And although I've never spoken to Goddess Isis either, she's always there. She's always looking out for me. I feel very strongly called to her as well. And then Ascended Master Yeshua Christ. A lot of personal readings that I've done lean towards Jesus Christ having been a Pleiadian. And so you can do your own research on that, or check out the website Biblioteca, the word Spanish, Pleiades, which I'll put in the description box if you want to go down a rabbit hole. But a rabbit hole that like takes you out to the other side and seeing everything the way it should be seen. And so just recently I have connected with my Arcturian lifetime, and it's as if in only having recently connected with my Arcturian lifetimes that I've been able to weave together the whole picture of a lot of my past lives not on earth. And a lot of what I've learned has been through sitting in meditation, has been through creating a space to go within and spiral down my own self, and then also to project outward and to ground myself in other dimensions and realities to receive the information. I receive most of what I receive through meditation. And so just recently I met the Arcturians, and I actually met them through a meditative space that I go to through my spinal column, and I spiral down my spine, and then I go through my little, it like created itself a long time ago. I was in the desert in Joshua Tree, and it just kind of happened. But I'm going and I'm traveling through, and I get to this spot that I normally go to, but then there was an opening to go somewhere else, and I went through and I started swimming, and then I realized I was a dolphin, and as I'm realizing I'm a dolphin, I'm swimming through this clear water. I'm just so happy, and then I see people running along the shoreline on this island. So I morph from dolphin to human, and I'm on the sand with all these little, they're short, I felt taller than them, even though I'm short, and they're all around. They like seemed so excited to see me, like not like, oh my gosh, like we're excited to see you because you're someone new, but like they remembered me, and they're like, oh my God. And there's no speaking, no one's ever like actually speaking. I'm just feeling what is being expressed. And so I walk down to the other end of the island, and I'm sitting, and I cord myself there, and I ground my energy there, and then all of them sit, and then like a chieftain looking tribe member comes and sits, and we speak to each other, and they explain to me that I have lived many lifetimes on Arcturus, and that I wasn't born the first time I was there as an Arcturian. I was, and this is how it all ties together, a firstborn Pleiadian who chose to come down in the form of dolphin and live in the waters, and then chose to come to land and be an Arcturian, and then lived multiple lifetimes there to gain the wisdom and the knowledge and the high vibrational energy that they hold as a people, to gather all of the information that I needed from them to go and then live my next lifetimes on the Myria, and then living on the Myria and getting to understand what it feels like to have heaven on earth, to understand what it feels like to commune with Gaia, with Mother, to commune with self and with other and with everything around you, and be a part of just creation, and knowing what it feels like to be in co-creation and in harmony with all things, and live multiple lifetimes in a place such as the Myria. And sometimes I haven't fully tapped into it yet. Sometimes I do feel like I was there when Lemuria was taken down by the Atlanteans. I sometimes feel that within myself. I haven't really sat with it too much. Might be something for me to do. But I'm digressing. So all of this information was given to me, not even by my like Pleiadian ancestors, the emissaries of light, not by my Lemurian ancestors. It was by the Arcturians, and which is why it feels like it all wove together after meeting them, because I feel like the Arcturians, every time I connect to my Lemurian ancestry, it's just like, oh, this is just full of fun. I feel like full of love, full of dance, full of laughter. I just want to celebrate everything. I just want to express to people that you can just feel good, that you can just express your happiness, express your joy. When I connect to the Pleiadian emissaries of light, I feel more like in embodying a state and showing that even though we're in a dense environment in a 3D world, we can stay in our high vibrational frequency and to implement 5D energy onto a 3D plane. So that's what I kind of take more away from my Pleiadian ancestry. And like I said, I lived there first, but I didn't feel like I lived a lot of lifetimes there. So it's like that's my core energy. That's kind of what I move with. Lemurian is what I exude. But when I went to Arcturus, it felt like I really went to Arcturus to gather all of the tools I need to share with others. Like Lemurian energy is just like embodying, just like, oh, I'm just showing you what it's like. Pleiadian energy is just what I move from and keeping that mindset. But Arcturian energy is like, here are the tools. They feel so much more, even though they're happy, even though they're full of love and joy, to me, with my personal lifetimes and experience on Arcturus, felt more like it is beautiful and it is a great state to be in, but there are also things that we're giving you that you need to do on earth, things that we want you to take away from the lifetimes you've lived here to implement on earth to raise the vibration. It's not to say the Lemuria and the Pleiadians aren't doing that, because they definitely are, but what I received from Arcturus brought the whole thing for me together on what it is I'm supposed to be taking from each of my experiences with my star families and with my just physical, like Lemuria was a physical part of the earth ancestry, and weaving it all together and then bringing it out and displaying it and showing it and embodying it and allowing it to just simply unfold. Yeah, and it's been really beautiful. And like I said, I just recently met with the Arcturians, and they were explaining to me a lot of what they wanted me to take away from meeting with them, and the importance of water. It's like one of the strongest things that came up. And honestly, it is kind of one of the biggest things that I always felt called to before I even sat with them. Because I remember the second time I changed the name of my YouTube channel, I was like, I want to do something for the oceans. I just don't know what to do for them. Like, I don't know like how to, in my Capricorn risingness, I'm like, how do I create a way to actually like make sure if when the channel grows and when I'm bringing in the abundance, that I can apply the abundance to like a foundation or a movement that actually does do the work to clean the water. How can I know for sure? And it was, for me, it was like, eventually I'm just gonna have to create my own. And then trying to figure out the best way in which to do that, because water has been a big thing for me. And then to hear when I ask the Arcturians and when I speak with them, it's never like, again, there's no, I'm just speaking through my mind, and then it's like even before I finish speaking my thought, they are answering me. And so I was like, what is something that you would really like for me to take away from this, just this moment we're experiencing now? And the head chieftain was like, water. And then everyone around whispered like, water, 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 water. And then they said, clean the water, clean the mind. And it just felt like sitting in a place of like true honor of what they said to me, like really holding like respect in that space and taking it seriously. And so taking that away with me, I was like, how do I implement this? How do I implement this? But like I said, I've been moving more into speaking, in light language and channeling each of my star families or my galactic families, earth, connecting to all my ancestral families and channeling light language in the way in which they would like for me to channel it. And so I've sat with all of them and asked them, how will I know when you want me to share something and how you want me to share it and what to do? Because the first things that they wanted me to share were just activations for each of the light languages, so that you could click on the Pleiadian one and be activated, click on the Lemurian one and be activated, click on the Arcturian one and be activated. And then they said, we will share with you at different times for a different reason, a different lesson for a different season. And that was all I needed to know. And so essentially they'll just come and show up and be like, we'd like for you to make a video in light language about this. And that's all I need to know. And I will understand as it happens. And I'm simply just working as a channel and a vessel for it. And I feel that Reiki and becoming Reiki certified really prepared me to learn how to sit out of ego and just allow energy to come through and flow through, and just to be that conduit, that open, clear channel for it. So very grateful for my path with Reiki as well in guiding me to this. But I kind of wanted to talk about some of my experience with my star family and galactic family and earth family and ancestral family, just family in general, so that you can understand some of my relationship I have with mine and maybe develop your own as well, and understand the intentions in sharing the light language and what it's supposed to do, because it feels strongly a part of what I will be growing and sharing, as far as what it's going to allow it to do for you and what it will activate for you and what it will open and unlock for you. And like I said, I just have done activations and they want me to do other videos already. I have things written down that they'd like me to do. And so I felt time to talk about it a little bit, and I'd love to hear your own experiences with your Pleiadian ancestors, with your Lemurian ancestors, your Arcturian ancestors. I've already been so excited to, like, now that I've been opened myself up to light language, and I spoke about it in another video, I've spoken with light language since I was like 17, so it's been 11 years, and I'm just now starting to like really embody it. I would only really speak it in quiet and silence and didn't want anyone to hear it and thought it'd be weird, so I'm still learning to become comfortable with it, and some of that is my like Pleiadian throat chakra stuff too, but it feels good to open it. But it's been so exciting to see other people on YouTube who speak in light and who embody light and work with the light grid, and it's been really exciting to be able to connect in that way, and I'm excited to connect with more in that way. So please leave a comment and converse with me, if you will. I would love to grow family on the channel, and it's been really exciting to watch other people's channels. Be like, oh my goodness, it feels like such a beautiful memory, inner child memory, really. And so yeah, I'd love to hear your stories as well. Please share them. Please connect in the comments. I would love for all of us to connect as little galactic family and earth family together. And it's been really, like I said, it's just the beginning of my journey with light language, but my journey with my guides has been for quite some time. I'm still building my relationship with my Arcturian family and understanding more of like my lifetimes there, but I was just amazed at how everything wove together and the whole story was presented to me. And I truly honor that and thank them for giving me that. And so I felt called to sit and talk about it as I continue to grow in the light language, so that you understand and just kind of get to know me a little bit in that way, since I don't really share that a lot. And yeah, thank you so much for sitting and watching and connecting with me and hearing me out and just letting me talk. And it feels good. I'm very excited to see where it's going to go, and very grateful to connect to light in this way and to share light and activate others in light. I think it's going to be, I know it's going to be very powerful as it continues to grow, and allowing all of us to anchor in light frequency here. So yeah, thank you for hanging out and talking. If you are from another star system too, please, by all means, Lyran, Pagan, Orion, Syrian, any lifetimes that you wanted to elaborate on and speak on, please do so as well. Please subscribe if you feel called to. I would love to add more family, star family here, and to grow as a galactic family of love and light here. That's really what my mission is. I really want to create a space where people are just sharing love and light with each other and just elevating the frequency together. So I'd love to add more little family, and would really appreciate to be able to connect with people who understand and who want to grow in light and love, and who are ready to usher in the dawn of the age of Aquarius. So if that's you, connect. I'm very excited. So I think I'm gonna stop gabbing. I don't think I have anything else to say. Yeah, that's been a little bit of my journey. It's literally brushing across the surface of it all, because I could go on in so much depth about some of the experiences I've had, especially with the Pleiadians and Lemurians when I see them in meditation, because I've met them more times than the Arcturians. But that's just a little bit of info. If you'd like to hear more, also tell me that in the comments as well, so I know that you're engaged and interested in hearing about this. I probably will still talk about it anyway, but I'd also like to just kind of engage more. So that's what I'm working on doing, and using my throat chakra and communicating more. So thank you so much for watching. Have a beautiful day or night wherever it is that you are watching this. I appreciate you. I love you. You are light. You are love. And until next time, peace.